Hello and welcome to Cracking the Cryptic on Location. And I'm looking at a puzzle by MK, who I don't think has featured on the channel before. Has sent us puzzles before, but I don't think has featured. But there's been a long gap, and MK has come back with Sub-Zero. I'll have a look at this in a moment. You'll see some negative digits in the grid, and we don't often solve Sudoku with negatives. Let's hope we don't have a negative appreciation of the puzzle at the end. Now, don't forget that on Patreon, coming out on the 1st of April, we've got a new Sudoku hunt, and it's by Sandra and Nala, and it involves fog of war and some doggy adventures, and these are always popular. I think you're going to love it. Looking forward to bringing you that. Also on Patreon, of course, you can watch Mark and Simon, i.e. me and Simon, grapple, Simon and I, that would be slightly better grammatically, grappling with, no, hang on. It's the object of you can watch. So it's me. You can watch Simon and me grappling with the Blueprint Sudoku by VFig together. And it really is incredible. So that's obviously a compliment to our Blueprints streaming. I'm using compliment with an E in the middle there. To our Blueprints streaming, which happens on Monday evening. Also on Patreon, gridogram connections and crossword videos. Also, we've got apps featuring Killer Sudoku and Line Sudoku, Classic Sudoku 2, and the Worms. And there's just so much content to interact with on the channel. We're also, of course, doing Minute Cryptic and Wordle in a Minute every day, although sometimes Wordle in a Minute gets postponed a little bit by my error. Anyway, let's have a look at the rules of Sub-Zero by MK and see if we can take on this intriguing variant Sudoku. So, normal Sudoku rules apply with one exception. Place the digits 0 to 8 instead of 1 to 9 in every row, column and box. So we're using the numbers 0 to 8 today. Digits in a cage can't repeat and sum to the small number in the corner. The 3x3 box borders divide blue lines into segments. Each segment on an individual line has the same sum. Every digit that stands directly below a 0 in the grid counts as negative regarding summation. There are 8 different sub-zero digits in the grid. Oh, I see, sub-zero, they're under the 0. Yes, I guess we knew there would be 8 different subs. Oh no, there are 8 different sub-zero digits in the grid. We knew there would be 8 digits under zeros. We didn't know they would all be different. No row, column, or 3x3 box can have more than one sub-zero digit. So we have a very unusual form of modifier cell today. So we've got negatives. I mean, we've had negators before, but it's a strange one. So they're going to apply whether it's a blue line or a cage. And that's interesting because, wow, I was going to say the blue lines will have positive sums. Maybe not always. Oh, intriguing. Okay, give it a try on that first link under the video. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So, all of these cages, apart from this one, which is 0, have negative totals. And that I found very interesting. This cage has a huge negative total, actually. So I was thinking of sort of sketching in all of these cells as possible 0 containers. I'm going to do that in box 2, but I was going to try and do it in the whole puzzle, but I'm only going to do it in box 2. Because after that, these other cages, the zeros that must sit above the negative digit, could be in one box or another box. And that makes for slightly uncomfortable pencil marking. I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do is think about this -7 cage, because that's a big minus number. See, imagine there was only one sub-zero digit in this cage. I have a feeling we're going to find there are 2, but I might be wrong. Let's try and add them up. Imagine there was only one sub-zero digit, and it was the biggest sub-zero digit you can get, which is -8. It's not -9. There's no 9s in the puzzle. It's -8. Then to get to -7, you would add... you see, I was wrong. I was thinking you'd have to add at least 2 1s, and you'd be at -6. and you couldn't have -7. But of course, there is a 0 in every row, column, and box as well. So one way for this cage to arrive at its value is to have a 0 in this cell, an 8 in this cell, which is worth -8, and a 1 in this cell. But there is another way, which is to have 2 sub-0 digits in the cage. And I thought that's what we were going to get. But what I now think is that we're either going to get 2 sub-0 digits in the cage. They would have to be in those 2 cells so that the zeros making them negatives would be in those 2 cells and not in the same row. But that is now only one possibility, 0 in both of those cells. The other possibility is an 8 there, a 0 here, and a 1 here. So I think in all the variants, this digit is 0. How could that be wrong? If this was 0 and that was -8, then I think, oh no, I'm sorry, this isn't necessarily right. Look, I'll just sketch it in. If that was 0 and this was 8 and this was 1 and this was 0, then I think, again, we're adding -8 plus 1 plus 0, and we're getting to the right total. So I'm not right. What I'm now going to say is that one of these 2 cells is a 0. Over here, we just don't know because this 801 is a definite possibility. Gosh, that did take some detailed thinking. So this isn't 0. Now one of these 2 is a 0 so that this can have a negative number in at all. Now by Sudoku, one of these 3 is a 0, which is not surprising. I'm certainly not going to put the 0 here because then I couldn't get any negatives into this cage because I wouldn't be allowed to have a 0 there or there. Oh, it's weird, isn't it? I haven't really thought about the blue lines yet at all, but I'm going to have to. No, I'm looking at these 2 digits. These can't be negative because we're not allowed. We've got a 0 in the box in one of those 2 cells. So we can't have a 0 in either of those to make either of these sub-0. So the sub-0 digit that this cage needs is going to have to be provided by a 0 there. And now we know where 0 is in this cage. And now we are in this position where this has to be an 8 and that's a 1. And this is the sub-0 digit here. I'm going to give the 0 a bit of a color and the sub-0 digit another color, because basically we're going to be finding all the zeros in this puzzle as a matter of some importance. Now, I'm going to use green to say not red. It's not saying not yellow, it's saying not red. In fact, one of those is a yellow 0 by Sudoku. This is big enough to account. These must be at least a 1 and a 2. In fact, that's what they are. They're 1 and 2, so that this can be 7, and we can achieve our subtotal, our sub-0 total here. Subtotal. They're green. Actually, all of these are green. Goodness, there's loads of green to do. There we go. Now, and these are the modified cells, -8 there, -7 there. So we've used the 2 biggest modifying cells that are needed. We've still got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to be modified. One of those will be in this 3 cage, where the other digit in column 4 is going to be at least a 3, because no, it could be 0, couldn't it? It could be 0 there, -6 here, and a 3 there. Okay, what if that was the 0? This would be -6, maximum. Well, sorry, maximally negative, therefore minimum. This would be 3 minimum, but this would be 1 minimum. So it can't be 0 there. That's too many. Goodness me. So this is definitely the 0. And I make that yellow and the cell below it red, and then I green for the red. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's a bit weird, I know. Now, we need a negative in here, don't we? And we can't have a 0 in one of those. So the 0's in one of those two cells. The negative's in one of those two. I suppose these are green and yellow. And then we're going to have a red cell in one of these under the 0. Okay, it's all making sense. Now, I haven't considered this 0 cage yet, which is kind of getting in the way a bit. Let's say that wasn't a negative, because this wasn't 0. Then these three would be positive digits. None of them could be 0, and none of them could be negative, and that just doesn't make any sense, because you'd never get to 0 by adding 3 positive digits. So this definitely is red. These are definitely not 0, and this is definitely 0. And this is going to be negative, and then we're going to add those two. I don't know much about that. I mean, this could be 3, 4, 5, or 6. We're adding at least 1 and 2 here. This one, in turn, this could be as little as a negative 4, could it? Oh, we've got to get to a -3. Yeah, this must be at least a 1. So that's 4, 5, or 6. And over here, we've got -1 in this cage. Now, one of the digits we're going to be adding is a 0, and one of them is a negative. But the other two are going to be greens. They're going to be positive, at least 1 and 2. We've got to get to a total of -1. So the negative has to be at least -4. So these are two of the digits from 4, 5, 6 in the funky cells. Now, okay, well, that's really interesting. And this is also from 3, 4, 5, 6. So we haven't found any hint of the red 1 and the red 2 yet. But we will. We will come across them somewhere. Now, there is clearly a 0 in one of those cells. So one of these two is red. One of those two is yellow. The rest of these are green. And this is a genuine number that appears there. This is a positive total blue line. And that number can't be 0, 1, or 2, or 7, actually. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, or 8. And that doesn't really help me with this. This is a positive number. So this can't be negative as well. Oh, in fact, in this column, we've found the red. One of these two is red. Now that means one of these two is 0 above it to make it sub-0. This is meant to add up to 0. No, it's the blue lines. I haven't looked at the blue lines at all. I've been very remiss. It's time to study them. This pair is quite interesting. They're at least a 3 and a 4. And yet in this box, we're adding 1 cell and 0. So these are now 3 or 4, 3 and 4, or 3 and 5, adding to the maximum digit for here, which is 7 or 8. Now these two have got to add to 7 or 8 as well. Can that really be the negative? No. We worked out the negative in this box is at least -4. To get to a line total of 7 or 8, we'd need an 11 or something here. That's nonsense. So these two digits are just ordinary green color. These two are the funky ones. 0 right here, and the negative over here, which is at least 4, 5, or 6. It's at least 4 is what I mean. Right, 6 and 7 as digits in this box are in those cells, so this can't be 6. And this line has a total of either 7 or 8, and that goes for these two cells. Now we're getting to a total of only -1 here. The maximum, i.e. the maximum negative, i.e. the minimum number, is 6 there. So these can only add up to a maximum of 5 between them. So I'm going to put in possible digits 1, 2, 3, or 4 there. And that means that can only contribute a maximum of 4 towards a total of a minimum of 7. So this is at least a 3. Can't be an 8. That would be too many because you'd have to add that digit as well. Okay, that pencil marking may have been a little excessive. I admit it. Now, so we dealt with this line and we got some quite good progress. We started looking at that line, didn't get very far. This line, it's going to be the same digit in both places. It's not 0, 1, or 8. That's not very interesting yet. This line is the long line which has turning in it. Now, -8 plus something here that could well be a 6 or a 7 that is not 0, 1, 2, or 3. This digit is 4, 5, 6, or 7. So the sum on this line in each box is -4, 3, 2, or 1. That really doesn't limit this cell much with a big digit negative there. Oh, of course, since there's a negative total on this line, these two cells need a negative. So that one must be the fully funky cell. This one must be the cell of 0. And this, well, we're getting to a total of, what did I say, -1, 2, 3, or 4. That's not very... This can't be the -1, but it could be any of the other tallies. Now, we can green the rest of the row. I'm going to do that. Oh, maybe we can place 0 in box 1. Look, we can, just by Sudoku. There it is. And that digit below it is therefore red and isn't counting towards anything. Okay, then there's a red cell up here. Now, there isn't really a red cell up here because there are only 8 red cells in the puzzle, because the red cell up there is not sitting under 0. So actually they're green. Sorry. It's just so second nature to go, where's the red in row 1? But there isn't a red in row 1. That's the row where the red where no cell sits below 0. Oh, there's a 0 down here somewhere, but it doesn't act as a yellow digit because the cell below it doesn't exist. I hope I'm making myself clear. It's a slightly odd concept for me. Now, 8, 7, one of these is a 1. Ah, the 1 here is not a 1 because we've got 1 in this box. So it's that one that is the -1. That doesn't make it easy to know what the digit here is. Okay, this box, this cage, we need to make add up to 0. So these digits add up to no more than 6. Not that helpful, is it? Oh, I've got this line as well. I haven't thought about that. Right, 3 by Sudoku is in one of these cells. If it was in this cage, we'd have to have a 3 and a 1 equals red 4, or a 3 and a 2 equals red 5. It's tricky. It's tricky to get a handle on that. Oh, that 1 is looking at this digit. Just do a tiny bit of Sudoku. Then we get 1 in row 4. There's only one place it can be since we pencil marked this. These can't have a 1 on since we put that red 1 in. So now that's very interesting for this cage. These have a minimum total of 5, and that's what they must be. And this must be the red 6. So now we can rule out red 6 out of the other possible reds. And this line has to add up to 7 or 8. So that can't be a 3, but that would... Oh, it can't be a 6 by Sudoku as well. So that's 4 or 5. This is also 4 or 5 negative. We're looking for a -3 total for the cage. So depending on whether that's 4 or 5, this is 1 or 2. But by Sudoku, it can't be 2. So it's a 1, that's 4. We've had the 4 in red. We're going to need 2, 3, and 5 in the remaining red cells. Okay, well, this is a bit better progress. Now 4, oh, and 3 are looking at these So they're either 5 or 8. If they were 5, this would be a 2-3 pair, but whichever digit was here would clash with that. So these must be 8s. And since this digit can't be 1, 2, or 3, it's 5, 6, or 7. It can't be 4 because they're both before. This one is then 1, 2, or 3, but it can't be 1. So that's quite good progress. Now down here, don't know. This cage, if it had a -3, that would be a 1, 2 pair. Ooh, okay, that would, given that 1, 2 are here as well, that would push 1 and 2 into these cells. Now that wouldn't work because this would be a -2. And for this cage, this would be a 1. But we were postulating a 1, 2 pair here. And that would clash with that putative 1. So this is a 5. These add up to 5 without using a 4. So they are now a 2, 3 pair. And 2 is by Sudoku in one of those. Oh, 5 can't be in red now. So this is 2 or 3. To make this cage add up right, this is 1 or 2, but it's a 2, 3 pair looking at it. So that's a 1. This is 2. We're going to get a red 3 over here somewhere. That is the last digit needing to go into red. This line now adds up to -1. So that's a 7. And this is a 4. Excellent. Now, in this column, we've got 4, 5, and 6 still to place. That can't be 4, so it's 5 or 6. These are from 4, 5, and 6. That has to be the same as this one, but that can't be a 5. So this is 4 or 6. And this line now adds up to 7, 8, or 9. Well, we don't have 9s in the puzzle, so that's 7 or 8. Oh, yes, I do know what this is because I've got 8 looking at that cell. It's a 7. This is a 3, 4 pair. This could be either. No, it can't. We've had a 4, so that's 5, 2. And that line is finished. Didn't have any red cells on. This line has 3 red cells on and is fully finished. This line had none and is not quite finished. No, I don't think it can be. Still got these blue lines, this red square to determine. These digits seem to be a 5, 6 pair now. So these ones are 2, 3, and 4. This first one can't be 3 because it's not red. This next one can't be 4 by Sudoku. There's an 8 in one of these 2 cells, and that's quite a big number. But I'd like to know what the other number in this row is. It's either 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yeah, I don't know quite how to use this yet. Can I do some more Sudoku? Yes, I can put 4 in box 7 and then 7 and 8, and I've finished a whole box. That 2 is looking at this cell. Now, 3 plus 5 equals 8. That's what this line must be. No alternative is left. Then I can put in 8, 1, 6 here. This is a 1, 6 pair. This digit is a 7. These are 0, 2, 3. Up this column, we can't have a 5. So I've got a 4, 6 pair in the row and the column. That is now a 5. These 2 are 3, 5. And this digit at the top is 7. These still not been resolved? No, not at all. In this column, we need 4, 5, and 6 still. One of those 2 is a 4. I'm putting off doing these lines as long as I possibly can. These are green. I mean, they can't. There is no such thing as a red digit in this box. It's fine. So this line. Okay, in one case. Oh, could that be 0? No, this digit can't be 0 because you'd have to have the same digit in red below it as in green below that. Ah, of course. So this one is green This one is definitely red. This one is definitely 0 and yellow. And I think that must be right. Now, this is the negative, and we've had 2, so that's the 3. And this is 3 more or less than that. 3 less. This digit has to outweigh that 3. So if this was an 8, that's a 5. If this was a 7, that's a 4. That's impossible. 8 or 5, 7 or 4. If it was 6, it's a 3. That's impossible. If it was 5, that is possible. Then we have a 2. 4 and 1 is impossible for 2 reasons. 3 and 0 is impossible for 2 reasons, and that's it. So we're done. It's either one of those is a 5 now, and the other one does the balancing. 2, 4, 3, 1, 0. We need a 7 in this box. The other digits are from 5, 6, 8. Now, we can look at this line. I don't think this can be 8, of course, the biggest digit in the puzzle. I don't think this can be 4 now, because that would take us up to 9 at least. So now 2 and 5 would be 7. That would be a clash. It's 2 and 6. That's an 8. That hasn't resolved these, incredibly. Although, hang on, that 8 is looking at this cell, so that's a 5. Now that's resolved this line with an 8 and a 5. And this is 6 and 1. We can probably do this 0, 2, 3. I'm putting 0 there. I know it's not yellow. Doesn't matter. Down there, it's not performing the sub-0 task. That's a 3, 4 pair. This is a 1. That 3, 4 pair makes this digit a 6. And these are a 2, 7 pair. We can fill them in. That 2 is now looking at this digit, so we can finish that line. Then we get a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spot. Light losing its religion. And we've finished box 1. We've got 2 boxes left. This digit is a 2. These are a 4, 6 pair, which lets me finish box 5. A 5 and a 3, and we should be done. And correct. Excellent. That's a really nice puzzle by MK. A very gentle introduction to modifier digits, but really neatly done. I liked it a lot. Thank you for watching us here on Cracking the Cryptic. Do come back soon. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. We are pushing on for the next milestone. It would be lovely to get there. And incredible that the milestones come in hundreds of thousands these days. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much if you've ever subscribed to the channel and if you follow us. It's an absolute pleasure to have your company. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.